it's like you got this guy, he's like high up in the fucking mob scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he's like one of the top dogs. He's got all the connections, he's got the money, he's got, I mean, he can, buy a gun off of any fucking scum of the earth and the dregs of any city known to man. And this motherfucker, he's the man. This dude owns. But, one day, a couple of, his gang, members of his gang, including his own son, and, some Colombian fuckers, set him up. Because, he thinks that he's about ready to carry out a raid against this guy named Costello. Who's a fucking, he's like the top dog in the Cuban underworld and shit. Well, it just so happens that when he's set up, here he is surrounded by a bunch of dead bodies and shit, and he's got like a whole shipment of coke on his hands, so he's got to go and do 25 to life, just about. Well, there's a prison break, and he kind of gets in on it, and when he gets out, he's out there on the streets just like, he's just a lowly fucking, scummy criminal and shit. Just a thug and stuff. So what does he do? He goes and he gets himself a fucking arsenal and, shaves his head into a fucking mohawk and shit. And he starts, just really dishing out some... he's just splattering motherfuckers left and right. And, there's going to be like this one scene at the end where, his son, who's now taking over his empire and shit, he has all his foot soldiers, fucking guns ablazing and, cherry pie being splattered all over every fucking wall and ceiling known to man at this point. Every nook and cranny is just, bone. There's going to be a bone fragment somewhere in that bitch. And so finally, when it comes, everybody else is shot up, and, there's going to be a point where he's just kind of standing there, he's just like, fucking, fucking red dye coming out of his mouth, and you know what I fucking mean. And so then, while his son's kind of got bullet holes all over his shit, they're both laying on the floor. His son's reaching for the fucking Uzi or whatever he's got, and he's trying to get ready to point at his dad's head and stuff. And finally, his dad pulls out like a little switchblade and just stabs him right in his fucking Adam's apple. And right at that point, Sonny Boy pulls the trigger, and it's just gonna be one of those movies. Everybody fucking dies. There's no happy ending. But one thing's for sure. He finally gets what he wants because, he's talking about. He tells a little story about it.
No.
And fuck, I just lost my train of thought. Cut it.
It's good. It's good.